For today's Tech Check, Mackenzie Sagalos joins us now with Databricks CEO Ali Ghodsi in a CNBC exclusive. Mac.
Hey there, Mike. So, Ali, thanks so much for joining us. This is OpenAI's first major integration with a company like Databricks, but what does Databricks get out of this partnership? Are you seeing signals that enterprise adoption hasn't been scaling as fast as hoped?
Yeah, so what we're seeing is that enterprises really are excited to get agents actually working inside the enterprise. Nobody's at scale succeeding with them. It's very early days, but everybody's very excited that if they can actually automate the tasks that are happening inside a large organization, it'll be game changer for GDP, for productivity, for revenue, for cost reduction, for risk reduction. So that's really what we're focused on with Agentbricks. And a core component of that will be now OpenAI's models that will now be available to any of our customers on all of their data that they have in Databricks. So we're very excited about this.
Now, Accenture CEO Julie Sweet spoke to our Sarah Eisen earlier today, and she says that she is starting to see an inflection point in AI adoption. But when are we actually going to start to be able to measure a return on invested capital for these companies?
Yeah, it's happening slowly. I think that, people got too excited maybe in the last 2 years, and it got kind of, people were following the investments that were happening in infrastructure and so on. They were a little bit ahead of themselves, but actually we're now seeing the use cases land. We're seeing them being automated. MasterCard actually has been using us and OpenAI for all of their product onboarding for all of their cards. Adidas has been using us and using agents that actually can now measure the sentiment around the world for all of their shoes, and they can then improve those shoes and the designs in a way they couldn't do before with humans. They couldn't read everything that's on the web around this. Block, Square, the payment company, can now completely automate how stores and restaurants install and interact and configure and get it up and running by just speaking English to it instead of having to fiddle around, configuring things in the old way. So the impact is happening. The projects are landing, but it takes a while, and I think it's going to take a few years before we see, that kind of transformation that completely changes every company on the planet.
Now, we've seen this surge in AI investing news this week, with public companies hitting record highs off the back of these OpenAI-related infrastructure deals. Do you think that this is a healthy build-out or more of a concerning spending spree?
Well, it's hard to know. It's clear that a very small portion of the people on the planet are using LLMs right now, right? Even if you use OpenAI's number, which are very impressive, 700-800 million, whatever those numbers are, they still have 10x more to go. So once all the people on the planet are using LLMs, and once we are using them inside the enterprise for all the tasks, you can see that at least the inference is going to go up. So we will need more inference capacity going forward than we have. Now, the exact investments and where they are, I can't predict how they're all going to do, but there's going to be much more AI usage in the future than we have today. There's no doubt about that. And a build-out will be needed, and it will be needed in all kinds of regions around the world to be close, latency-wise, to where the consumers are. So I think it's early days. It is very exciting, but we still have to get the customers and the enterprises actually successful with the use cases. So we are laser focused on that with Agentbricks.
Last question for you. There's been a lot of talk this week about the circular model of AI that NVIDIA is handing $100 billion to OpenAI, that OpenAI is then planning to hand right back to them for chips. There's concern about OpenAI being this epicenter of the entire AI trade, also making it a single point of failure. Now that you are part of that ecosystem, how do you protect against it?
Yeah, so Databricks actually hosts, and I think we are the only platform that actually hosts all three major models. So we now have OpenAI, which we're very excited about. We announced earlier that we also have Anthropic on the platform in a similar vein. We also have Gemini models from Google natively. So any customer of Databricks, they don't need to worry. It just works inside of Agentbricks. So there is redundancy already across those three for us. And I wouldn't worry too much about, there's the press and what people write about and the headline numbers. And then there's the fact that we actually will need inference capacity going forward. There is going to be more inferencing done, people using LLMs, right? We're like in the early phases. Not every person on the planet is using at the fullest capacity these AI models. So more capacity will be needed. I can't comment on the exact investment here and there and how we're counting to get to those big numbers. But I think we need the hardware to be deployed around the world.